And then that's when I was like, okay, shoot, what's the next step, right? The contract.
Yeah.
Mike emailed me his sample contract. I had a PDF. So I printed that one out, and then I called Mike back on the phone. Hey man, you guys ready to go on the deal? And then I don't even know how to fill out the contract. So I have Mike on the phone, the guy me and him sitting at the table there, his mom's table, and Mike starts literally helping me out fill out the contract right now over the phone.
You're listening to the Azria Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from Azria, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hey, what's up? Azria family and the great state of Arizona on today. It's a beautiful day outside. I would say it's probably around 75-ish. Supposed to get up a little bit warmer today, but I have Mike, my co-host.
Hello.
And we have Paul Lizarraga on today. He's joining us, and we're going to be talking about it. We're speaking primarily to our newbies right now. Okay, so if you're newer, you're just getting started, or if you haven't done a deal, or if you're, you know what, we can't talk to some of you older members, older individuals that's more seasoned investors, because right now it's harder to find deals. So what do we do in order to find deals? Because you can't just go to the MLS because there's only 5,000 active listings on the MLS. It's hard to go on the MLS. So you got to be creative in finding deals. And this is one of the things that Paul does. So we're going to dig into some deal finding, how we went from W-2 9-to-5 person over to being independent and doing things himself. So Paul, how you doing, sir?
Good, doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. Well, Mike, you had a long-lasting relationship with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of tell us how that got started.
Well, I think we met here at the association, right here at Azria. I think you're coming here to sit in up all the networking groups, mainly probably the beginners group, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we met. And so before we jump there,
okay,
who are you, right? Like, what's your background, and then how do you stumble upon the real estate investing world?
Well, Mike, that's where I was going. I wanted to see how you guys met, and then kind of go down that road. But go ahead, you got it. Take it away.
Yeah, so I started off in the automotive field. Started off as a mechanic, got my associate's degree. What happened was I ended up hurting myself. I injured myself. I ended up getting a back injury. With the company that I was with, luckily they were able to keep me on for a while. And with that, they kind of moved me into an office position. And so being a mechanic, I kind of got bored. I'm used to using my hands. So I started Googling some words that interest me, because I started getting bored and that have always intrigued me a little bit. And those words were stock market, right? Investing, real estate. And from there, it kind of just really snowballed. And I started finding out that there was other people kind of doing a similar interest that I had. And they kind of turned me on to a couple of books. I got introduced to Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's book, a couple of other Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, two of my favorites still to this day that I read at least once a month. From then, I started looking into programs, and I actually went on the website, went on Google, and found RIA. And I was looking into it and found out, okay, these RIAs are around in other states. And this just happened to be our local one. Came down to a couple network events, a couple meetings. The first one is actually down there at the Celebrity Theater one.
Okay.
Me and my wife went and was just amazed by the amount of people that were there, the networking that was going on. I was a natural introvert. So for me to come out and to talk to people was nerve-wracking, right?
Paul, really?
Yeah. So going out there and just having people come up to me and kind of introducing themselves, making me feel comfortable, really helped me along my journey. But along that,
that's a good point, though. Let me just stop on that, because when you're new, you're like, oh, all these investors are professionals, they have all this money, whatever your thought is. When actually we want to help, because we are all in those beginning stages at some point. So
yeah,
man.
And that's where we met.
Yeah.
And Mike was more than happy to help me out, to offer his services, whatever he had to offer me, and just come by and to whatever resources I need, right?
Okay.
And so from then working, right, doing some work, automotive, back's healing, kind of in that mode of, hey, just still grinding away at it. So with that investing and with learning, you start learning how to start putting money aside. You start delegating a little bit better. But it's always an education thing. It's always you have to be self-improving. It's not Mike's going to get me there, or it's not Marcus going to get me there. We can offer the resources all we can, and ultimately what it comes down to is us as individuals. And that's something that I believe that we all need to figure out for ourselves. But along that journey, Mike's giving me tasks on what to do. Little tiny tasks here. Hey, are you making calls? Are you following up? Are you sending appointments? With that, he was kind of giving me some accountability there, right? So if you're going to do this, what are you going to start doing, right?
So how important is that piece right there? Because a lot of people, they see the glitz and glamour of being a real estate investor, but they don't know the back end of it, about all the work that you have to put into it. Having that accountability partner, how important was that for you so you can stay on task?
Extremely important. Extremely, very important, because I found myself getting too absorbed in the day-to-day life, right? Working just your normal 9 to 5, and you get home and you're tired, right? You want to kick back, you want to watch some TV, you want to watch Seinfeld, right?
Yep.
That's my favorite show that I had to stop watching. And with Mike giving me that accountability, I'm like, okay, if I want to do this, well then what are we doing? Are you going to go out there, you're going to make appointments, you're going to make deals, or are you just going to keep sitting down? A good reference, Brandon Turner on Bigger Pockets, he said the same thing, along with, is his name Ron LeGrand?
Ron LeGrand.
Yeah, Ron LeGrand.
Old educator, yeah.
Yeah. He even mentioned stopping watching your TV shows, right? To focus on your dreams and goals and where you want to get to, right?
Yeah.
That's true. One of the things that I always tell people is, why are you watching people that's already making millions? Why don't you make yours? So stop watching the people on TV. Stop watching, movies and things like that. Start creating your own movie. So that's one of the things that I always say.
Sure. And then, so from there, I started going to more networking events. And then after 5 years of moving with that growth and development that I've learned with reading the educational books, coming to the network events, coming to the seminars, you just learn these leadership skills on how to talk, how to communicate. You learn what these words are. And with that, you put yourself in these positions to where you're able to achieve more, right? You're positioning yourself to obtain more, right? To become better. And with that, after 5 years of being at that career, I was super grateful and thankful for the opportunities that they given me.
Real quick, I know where you're going right now. So 5 years. So it was 5 years you were floating around.
Yep.
Right? Like up and down maybe, stop and go, or were you full throttle for 5 years?
Right. It was a stop and go. There were some slow months, right, where there was no deals happening. Right. There was some moments where 3 months, 4 months, 5 months would go by and there wouldn't be a deal. There were some learning opportunities. For me, it's
let's go in the first deal.
Yeah. Let's go back, Paul.
Okay, all right.
Not gloss over the first deal. Come on.
So the first deal I got was actually a referral. I went to go see a lady's house, and we did not end up doing the deal, but she called me a week later because I built that rapport with her, and she actually said, "Hey, I saw a sign down the road, a for sale by owner sign." And I go, "Well, you mind if I get the number?" She goes, "I don't have the number, but I have the address if you want that."
Okay.
I went back that night just to get the number. So I swung back around that night and got the number and ended up calling him the very next day. I called Mike actually before I went down there, and Mike kind of helped instruct me on, hey, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say.
So real quick before we go there was a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we tell people is there's a sense of urgency. The lady called you, she gave you the address. You could have sat there and said, well, I'll go by there on the weekend, or I'll wait until next week. I just got off work. No, there was a sense of urgency. She told you, you went that night and got the number or got ready to call a person. So guys, you listening, you got to make sure you have that sense of urgency, because in these markets, deals go quick. You got people like Paul that's out hunting every day. If you're not out hunting, then you're going to go home empty-handed.
So I'll even take it back one step. So you found a lead that you were working, whatever source it was. you're building, like you said, your relationship. You gave an offer, they didn't like it, it didn't work, right? But you had the good relationship that they built. I'm assuming you said, hey, if you know anybody else out there that wants to sell, keep me in mind. She liked you, so she called you, right? So what I always say is for every dud, there's a stud, right? So that was a dud, right? But you got something, they referred you to the next step. Yeah, then it jumps into the urgency that Marcus is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So what happened next?
Went down there, talked to the seller. Turns out the guy inherited the house from his mom. He was just looking to sell it kind of quick, but he was fixed on his price that he wanted, right? Again, that was just that negotiation skills. And keep in mind, I'm still coming out of that introvert, right? I'm still trying to learn how to network, how to communicate, right? How to sell better. And I was there for 4 hours negotiating with the guy, just back and forth, building up that rapport. 4 hours, and this is.
What did you guys do? Have lunch and dinner, man?
I asked him if he wanted to. The house was empty. We were there talking, and it finally came down to the point of I had to make the decision for myself. That mindset, right, is that I'm not leaving this property until I get the deal. I'm not leaving, and I told the guy that. I told him, I said, you're gonna have to kick me out because I'm not leaving here until we come up with a deal.
Good tenacity. And
he liked that. He actually liked that. And I said, I'll wrestle you right here on the floor, and made a joke about it.
Give me the deal.
Yeah.
Give me the deal.
And he finally came down to where we needed to be at. I went into the room, and I was tired. I was couldn't believe it happened. I still was kind of in disbelief. And then that's when I was like, okay, shoot, what's the next step, right?
Right.
The contract.
Yeah.
Mike emailed me his sample contract. I had a PDF. So I printed that one out, and then I called Mike back on the phone. Hey man, you guys ready to go on the deal? And then I don't even know how to fill out the contract. So I have Mike on the phone. The guy, me and him, was sitting at the table there, at his mom's table, and Mike starts literally helping me out fill out the contract right there over the phone.
I remember he's like, I'm gonna go to the other room. When he goes in the other room, I'm like explaining the contract to him. I was on speakerphone, just walking through it, man.
Well, that's good. You had a resource to lean on, which was Mike, and not everybody take advantage of those resources. So, man, that's a testament to your work ethic, what you do, and your tenacity. Saying, I'm not leaving until I get this deal. So you didn't have it all figured out. You didn't know from point A, okay, I need to market to 50,000 people to get 500 leads, to get 5 deals. You didn't think about that. You said, what was right in front of me was this one person. I'm not leaving until I get this deal.
Yeah. Yep. You make a real good point right there. You're not going to know, right? You want people to kind of give you the what ifs. You can sit around and think about what's going to happen, or what if this, or what if I don't have that. But if you're not taking that first initial step, then you're never going to get to that next step.
There you go. So no marketing. You wasn't doing the marketing. This was from basically a referral.
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Good deal.
So what happens next? So you got that deal, right? What about the next one? So I wanted it from the first to the second.
So the next deal came through a Facebook ad.
Okay.
So of course, you start getting into real estate. You start telling people, hey, what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing, my family's getting in on it. My wife gets in on it. She starts finding properties on social media. We came across this one on Facebook, and she tells me to call up the lady. We call her up, and she actually owns a few properties, and she lives out of state.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, well, how do we get this done, right?
Yep.
I call up Mike again. Hey, I got out of state. So what's the problem?
That's right.
I said, I don't know. I can't even. She's showing me pictures of the property. I couldn't even go see the property. It was here in Arizona, but we couldn't see it. We didn't go and see it. She just gave us pictures. So sent the pictures over to Mike. She was at a decent price, but we still need to come down from what the pictures looked like. And
this was during COVID too.
Yeah, it was actually. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
And so we end up negotiating again, just back and forth with her and her son. Mike kind of helping me with the negotiations.
Her son was in Florida.
Yeah.
So the son was in Florida posting for his mother, right? Putting her number. You guys called the mother in Vegas.
Okay.
And we were here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
All during COVID.
Yeah.
Right? And all with a newbie.
all of the newbies. So yeah, he was facilitating.
Yep.
Yeah. And so after that, she was able to come to a price where we locked it up at. Again, Mike helped me out with the contract. That was the first time me using the DocuSign. Mike helped me out with that. And it's that, hey, you don't know where you're going until you take that next step. I'm like, how do we get that contract to her?
Right.
DocuSign.
Just figure it out.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out along the way. So you guys that's out there and you're thinking, what's the next step? What's the next step? You got to look at it and try and figure it out, or call on some of your resources, because it is doable. It's possible. Paul is sitting here as a testament telling you guys this. So you were able to get that contract signed and everything like that. Now you got some success, right? You got a little money in the bank, got a little success, you got a little swagger now because you're like, hey, this is real. I can do this. What happened after that?
Picking up some momentum. That's one thing Mike was telling me, right? So, hey, you got momentum, just keep that going. And with time, it slowed down, right? I'm not gonna lie, it did slow down a bit, but it was that consistency. Now,
so let me ask you this, because I'm gonna jump in here quite a bit.
Yeah.
Things slowed down. What was your mindset at that point?
My mindset was, what was it at the time? I was getting too focused in on my 9 to 5 still. I was getting too focused in on the 9 to 5 and not focusing in on finding more deals. I wasn't being accountable for myself.
Okay.
Is what it came down to.
So you kind of got a little relaxed. You're like, okay, I made some money. Let me, I can do this. I'm a real estate investor now. And then the well kind of dried up, right?
Yep.
So that consistency is very, very key.
Yep. It was nice having that check come in, but having it consistent was on my part.
How much you made?
On that first one, 4,000, and the next one, I think closer to 5 or 6 down there.
Okay. All right. Good. Nice little rips.
Yeah.
Get some.
I was wanting to make 1,000 if I could get a deal done at that point.
That's true, and that's very important, because it wasn't really about the money. And I tell newbies this, it's really about your self-confidence. Right. Everybody else is doing it. You're seeing it on Facebook, you're seeing it on Instagram, people holding up checks, doing all of this kind of stuff. And then you start to question yourself, well, what's wrong with me? I'm doing the same thing they're doing. How come I'm not closing deals? And then once you close that deal, you're like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. Let's do this. Okay, good job, Paul.
And then if I can speak to everybody out there, is that I didn't do my first deal until 2 years. Wow. I see people doing deals like first 3 months, 6 months. I'm like, something wrong with me, because it took me 2 years, but I got stagnant in learning too much, reading too much, and not taking action. It wasn't until I started seeing myself, I'm like, what am I not doing? I'm not getting out there. I'm not making calls. I'm not talking to people. So it's just that, what's the saying? Much learning, not enough.
Analysis paralysis.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So, and that's one of the things, and that's based out of fear. Yeah. So speaking to all of you guys out there that haven't done a deal, that's based out of fear. You're so scared that you're going to make a mistake. But the only way you're going to learn is by getting out there and making some of those mistakes. Guess what? Nobody's going to put you in jail. Nobody's going to lock you in a dungeon somewhere. Make the mistake. As long as you have somebody that can help you talk through the mistake, you'll come out on the other side even better, because now you know what not to do.
I embrace all my mistakes now. I have to make mistakes in order for me to learn. That's the only way I'm going to progress.
So let's stay on that deal, the second deal. A couple things there, right? You said she had more properties, right? And what were you doing to get to the third one?
So Mike reminded me that, hey, you said she had multiple properties, right?
You was happy.
I said, yeah. She actually said she might be willing to sell more later on in the future. He's all, okay, good. Start building that rapport with her, keep in contact with her, and let's see if we can do another deal down the road. Sure enough, I think that one was done maybe at the end of the year, and then sure enough, maybe
you stayed in touch with her for a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't right away.
Yep.
So you kept that. That's what I appreciate about you. You did use every month or whatever you had scheduled. You had a good relationship with her.
Yeah. Yep. Kept following up with her, and then she had another one come up for sale, and then we ended up doing a deal with her again, and ended up working out.
That was in Tucson. Once again, right? Like, we're in Phoenix, right? They're in Florida, Vegas. She had the property out here in Maryville, and then closed that one, and the other one was in Tucson. We didn't even go down there.
Yeah,
we didn't try. Yeah, we didn't go there.
Yeah,
it's all worked out.
Yeah.
So let's take a brief break. Hear a word from my sponsors. We'll come right back with Paul, and we'll touch on some more items as it pertains to finding deals.
Are your real estate dreams on hold? With work, kids, everything else going on, time is limited. Most days you feel like the world's on your shoulders. You might even say to yourself, if I just had someone to lean on and push me in the right direction, I know things would happen quicker. Well, then you need to check out the Deal Finders Club, a community of investors eager to close more deals, sign more contracts, and just get ahead in life. The DFC provides weekly coaching, thriving online community, and all the education you need to be confident. DFC is your fastest path to closing more deals. To learn more, head over to azdfc.com. That's azdfc.com.
All right, guys, we are back with Paul, and Paul is talking about finding deals in an extremely hot market. So, Paul, you got those 2 deals done. You've done some other deals along the way, everything like that. You got a sense of consistency. So now you decided to take the ultimate leap, and you said, you know what, I'm going to double down and I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to walk off my job. How did you have that discussion with your wife?
Well, it was in the process, right? It's always was in the back of my mind of leaving my career, right? But just being honest, being truthful, having good communication, right? Learning to develop and learning how to talk to my wife with respect and care, and us growing together really helped us have that good companionship to where I can bring that to her. And she was full supportive. Of course, we had planned things along the way, right? There was a lot of, hey, what ifs? There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of fear that's going to come with
that
it.
security blanket.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's gone. It's gone.
It is. We're the security, right? So so it came down to it, to where we were at a good position thanks to the wholesaling and everything that was going on, and thanks to just knowing about understanding real estate. We were able to use the home that we're actually in right now to kind of help us with that, and just really put us in a good position to make that move.
Okay, good.
So what did your coworkers and bosses say when you brought this up and you told them you're going to take off? What were the reactions you were getting?
A lot of shock, a lot of surprise. The career that I had was a good career. They knew I did real estate because I just talked about it all day anyway. So everyone kind of knew that I did real estate. And everyone, when you get into that mindset about being an entrepreneur or wanting to own your own business, they kind of see that within you, which is weird because I didn't see that really with myself. But as I was leaving, everyone there 2 weeks, everyone was kind of telling me, yeah, we kind of knew you have that in you. And I'm like, it was like a shock to me. Like, really? You saw it? Yeah. They're like, yeah, man, you do good. And you're always reading and stuff. Like every time we come in, you're like reading. I go, well, yeah. And they're like, you're going to do good, man. You're going to make it. And I'm like, I appreciate the support that they give and they do.
Well, like that, it kind of touches on those self-limiting beliefs too, because you figure, yes, I'm doing all of this reading, I'm educating myself and everything like that. And you can hear the stories of other people doing it. And then you think in the back of your mind, is this something that I can really do? Do I really want to take this leap? So I'm telling you guys out there, if you're so hell-bent on making sure you have that security blanket, please don't be a full-time investor, because there's a lot of ups and downs, crosses and everything like that, to where some nights you can't sleep because you're not worried, but you're strategizing. Okay, what's my next move here? You know, why other people in life are playing checkers, because they know, okay, get up 7 o'clock, hop in the car, drop the kids off at school, go to work, get off at 4:30, come home, take the kids to soccer, cook dinner, go to bed, do it all over again. But as an entrepreneur, you never know what your day is going to look like. You try and plan it out, but curveballs happen, man. And again, it's a real testament to you for sticking through it, especially for 2 years now, getting your first deal.
Yeah, appreciate that. And, you know, with that, there were also people that still keep in communication, and they have their 9 to 5 still, and they would rather just invest passively. Yep. So you can do that, right? You can still have your 9 to 5 and still get a house here or there. Again, it's just our own, where we want to get to, right? Our dreams and goals. Mine was just, hey, I want to be full-time investing. I'm an entrepreneur by spirit. That's my natural go-to, and that works for me. I have another friend, and he's a general manager, and he just gets Airbnbs, and he still keeps his normal job.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So What's some pointers? I know you talked a lot about mindset and stuff like that, action. What are some other things you can leave to new members or people that want to go your route?
Don't be afraid to open your mouth and ask the questions. You got to ask the questions. If you don't ask, you're not going to get there. So you got to be able to reach out to others, ask for things that you don't have. I just like being around the atmosphere. I'm a visual. So just visualizing it for me and being around it, and it makes me feel like I'm more absorbed in it. So then that allows me to take action. So finding out what works for you, whether seeing it or doing it or writing it or reading it, it's going to be ultimately up to you.
Yeah, like Tony Robbins, right? Want to learn a new language? Go full immersion, right?
Yep.
Like, so you got in it. So you're at the, like I said, reading books, real estate, thinking about real estate, action in real estate, going to the networking events, meeting new people. Just put yourself in there. So and one thing I always tell new people, right? We did a bunch of deals together, but I always say, when you ask me for advice, I'll give the advice. But when we follow back up on that call and you want to pick my brain or whatever, I know if you're doing it or not just by the questions you're asking. So the more you're doing it, the more I'll pick up my phone and help. And that's how that relationship started to build. I probably even told you, I was like, if you're not doing it, I'm just gonna stop answering my phone, right? So which leads into, after you quit your job, so here at the Ezria office, he works from here.
Yep.
So because I've seen the action you took and the effort that you put forth, I know you're not going anywhere. So why not continue to help, right? So if you're putting in the work, the right opportunities will gravitate towards you.
Yeah, I agree.
You built it yourself.
Yeah, and thanks to Mike, thanks to Ria, Marcus, opening your guys' services, welcoming me, offering whatever you guys have to help me out, and even people that I met at the networking events, just willing to share information, extremely valuable.
That's true, and that's what you say, Paul. You just got to ask the questions. People just got to ask the questions, and once you get the answers, go and do it.
That's it.
It's simple enough. Just go and do it.
Yep.
Why ask the question if you're not going to do it?
Don't worry about the contract. Don't worry about this, or if you got that in order, if you got this in order. That will play along. Which leads me back to quitting my 9-to-5. Okay, you may not know what the next step is, but you got to at least get there. And so now I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, what's the next step?
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, Paul, thank you. You guys see Paul around as Ria. Make sure you come up to him, shake his hand, talk to him, pick his brain.
Yeah.
Leave me and Mike alone. Pick Paul's brain. But no, I say that in all sincerity because he is just coming out of where some of you guys that are just starting are at right now. He understands that psychology of what you need to do next and why you haven't done what you need to do and everything like that. So, Paul, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here. Any parting words?
Abraham Lincoln said a verse that I really like, but I'm not going to repeat it right now because I forget what it is.
All right. Post it on the comments.
I will. I'm going to have to do that. Yeah. But for all the viewers out there, if you guys got any questions,
how we get hold of you?
Yep.
I imitate my mentors. I imitate people that I admire, that I want to be like. So I'm more than willing to offer my help, my services to anyone that's got any questions. And I'm at Retro Real Estate Investments. You can find me at Retro Real Estate Investments @gmail.com. We have a website, and you can also find me on social media.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Tap into Paul. Thank you so much, sir. Let us know your next one you got coming up.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Ezria Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delprete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to Ezria.org and learn more about our community.